Hey, Miss O'Connell. This is my Spanish final project presentation, and yeah, let's get started. So on the first slide, we have the imperative mood. So what is the imperative mood? The imperative mood is used to tell someone to do something in a direct manner, or more simply put, sentences in the imperative mood are commands, essentially. So it is just telling someone to do something in like a direct manner. So on the next slide, we have conjugation in the imperative mood, and this is informal. So if the verb is an AR verb, then you have to change the ending to ES. So for an example, if you have the verb ser, you would conjugate it to be CS. Now, if the verb is an ER or IR verb, then you have to change the ending to AS. And as an example of this, for an AR verb, I chose dar, and you would conjugate that to become des. If you want to make a verb negative, you have to simply put no before the verb and conjugate accordingly. So we have the verb calentar. So to make it negative, you would say no calientes. So you just put no in front of it and then conjugate it accordingly. So on the next slide, this is conjugation in the imperative mood formal. So with this, it is slightly similar, but for this we have singular and plural forms. So if the verb you are conjugating is an AR verb and it is singular, you have to change the ending to E. And if the AR verb is plural, then you have to change it to EN. So we're going to use the verb preparar, and in the singular form, it would be changed to prepare, or prepare, yeah. And in the plural, it would be preparen. So as you can see there, in the plural, we did en. In the singular, we did e. Now, if the verb you're conjugating is an IR or ER verb, then you have to change the ending to a. For singular and for plural, I think I have a mistype. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm just now seeing this. Okay, yeah, so for singular, you do a, and for plural, you do and. I think that's what I was trying to say, I'm sorry. So, as an example, we have the verb comer, and in the singular form, it is coma, and in the plural, it is coman. And in order to form a negative command, you do the same thing you did for informal, and just place no in front of it. So, for an example, you would do like, no preparar, if that's I think that's a good example. So it's the same thing that we did for informal, you just put a no in front of it. And if you want to attach a pronoun to a verb for a negative, you place it after the verb, and to make it positive, you simply just attach to the verb itself. So for the positive, we have the verb servir, and you would just make that servanla. So you would just attach it straight to it. And then for the negative, you would just say no la servan. So moving on to the next slide, we have 3 examples of irregulars in the imperative mood for informal. So we have the verb batir, which would be just conjugated to batas because it's an IR verb. Pelar, which would be conjugated to peles because it is an AR verb. And then for the ER verb encender, we would change it to encendas. And then these are some examples of irregulars in the imperative mood for formal. So ser in the singular would be vaya, and then in the plural it would be vayan. Then we have tener, which in the singular would be tenga, in the plural tengan, and then poner in the singular would be ponga, in plural pongan. Now, subjunctive mood. What is the subjunctive mood? The subjunctive mood is the verb form used to explore a hypothetical situation or to express a wish, a demand, or a suggestion. And mainly, most of the time, all the parts involved in the conjugation in the subjunctive mood are as follows, which it would be yo quiero to begin, which is I want, and then que, what do you want, and then the verb being used. So now I'm going to explain how to conjugate in the subjunctive mood. So to conjugate in the subjunctive mood, you must first conjugate a verb normally and then do as follows. So if the verb is an AR verb, you must replace the A in it with an E. And then if the verb is an ER or IR verb, you must replace the I or E with an A. So as an example, let's conjugate the AR verb abordar. So in the yo form, it would be aborde, and you can see that we changed that A to an E after conjugating. So you do all your conjugations first, and then you change that letter at the end. So to form abordes, and as follows: aborde, abordemas, and aborden. So that's pretty self-explanatory. It's nothing too hard. And then what is the weirdo acronym, and what is that? Its applications. So in weirdo, the W stands for wish, and is a subjunctive to describe a worldly wish, so like it is feasible, it's possible. And then the E is emotional, and the emotional portion of subjunctive, that is an emotional desire. So like it's something you want that is, I don't know, any way related to emotional. Like I want to be happy, like I want to do something fun. And then I is impersonal, which is to ask for something blatantly. So it's just like, do this, do that. It's like more of like more commanding, it's not like really asking politely. And if you want something polite, you move down to R, which is request. So that's to ask politely for a service. Can you please do this? So it's just in a very a polite manner. And D is to doubt, to question something or another person. So, it's really self-explanatory, just doubt. And then O is oyala, or to wish for something that is completely impossible, and it's like something out of a fairy tale. Like you're wishing for it and it is just completely there's no way you can obtain it. It's like asking to be able to fly. Like that would be an example of that. So moving on, we have examples of the subjunctive mood in sentences. So I decided to do this, just so you can put all that information and see it happening a little bit. So for the first sentence, we have quiero que no tengas frío. And what that means is I want you to not be cold. And this uses the W in weirdo because it is a wish for something that is possible. So I want you to not be cold. So that's feasible. So it goes on to W. Pretty self-explanatory. And next sentence, we have yo quiero que tú limpies el baño. I want you to clean the bathroom. This uses the R in weirdo because it is a request for somebody to do something. So it would not fall under the I because it is not blatantly really asking. It's kind of politely asking for a service. So I want you to clean the bathroom. A request for somebody to do something. So, yep, that's about it. That is my last slide, and hopefully this presentation allowed for good explanations of the irregulars in the imperative mood for both informal and informal, and then the subjunctive mood and the weirdo acronym. So, thank you, and goodbye.